The teacher of righteousness is standing as a stone around which God builds the community in the Dead Sea Scrolls. The angels are commonly in Judaism seen as the intercessors for Israel. We knew that. And this description here, I've got to read this. See if you can catch this. This is about the angels. They ascend, bringing the prayers of men into the purest heavenly region of the universe, or even to places purer than these beyond the heavens. Think about that. That is so interesting. Don't we always think that heaven is the most pure spot? Are there purer spots beyond the heavens than the heavens? What is this saying? Isn't that fascinating to think on? I've been thinking about that all week. Wow. The cosmology here is very interesting. Well, anyway. So the Son of Man, this on page 379. The Son of Man is both the stone, on the basis of which the world was made, and the Son of Man is also the altar stone at Bethel/Jerusalem, from which the angels take the prayers of the people, and to which they bring back the heavenly answers to those prayers. If the Son of Man, if this stone is the place of sacrifice, he is also presumably the sacrificial victim, the high priest who takes his own blood into the Holy of Holies to be sacrificed. That's Hebrews 9:12. That is what Christ did as the great high priest, according to Hebrews. The temple and the altar is identified with Christ, who is also identified as the Son of Man, who is also identified as the foundation stone of the entire world. The plan of salvation is the plan of salvation had before the foundation of the world, according to the LDS teachings. It began before this earth even existed. The infinite atonement, as the Book of Mormon teaches, was already in place. The Book of Mormon jives with this really well. This is really something else. So John 1:51 has preserved for us an ancient Jewish tradition that taught that the Son of Man would be seen as the altar and as the sacrificial victim on the altar, to which the people come, and participating in that sacrifice, they see the angels taking their prayers to heaven and coming back with the gracious answers to their petitions. This is precisely what we see in Lehi's first vision in chapter 1 in the Book of Mormonism. It's fascinating, utterly exquisite. Now, Philo had some interesting things. He noted that this idea of the angels coming back and forth, ascending and descending into heaven. He noted that the angels who served Jesus during his temptations gave him food, and that the angel in Gethsemane who, quote, strengthened Jesus, fed him. The manna, and he says, compare Acts 9:19, 1 Kings 19:8. And in 1 Corinthians 10:3, the manna is called spiritual food, and this manna is linked with the spiritual rock that followed them. So now we have the connection with manna from heaven, the living bread. This is Christ. Now, Philo made a curious link between the manna and the rock. After a lengthy meditation on Deuteronomy 32:13, which is very interesting because this is a very powerful Council of the Gods theme chapter, Deuteronomy 32, he made him suck honey out of the rock. Suck honey out of the rock. What is that? What a weird image. Honey doesn't come from a rock. Ah, but it does. Here's how Philo elaborates on this. He referred to another passage where Moses calls the rock manna. Moses, in another place, employing a synonym, calls this rock manna, who is the divine Logos, most ancient of beings. Notice he's equating the Logos with the being, with a being. Which Logos, like manna, is named the most generic possible something from which two cakes are made, one of honey and the other of oil. The symbolism here, in this allegory, is the sweetness of the honey stands for contemplation, and the oil for the light which illuminates those who persevere. The other passage from Moses is probably Numbers 11, verses 7 and 8. The manna is said to be like coriander seed and is rock-like. And it seems that John 1:51 might also allude to a tradition that linked a rock with manna. This is so fascinating how all of these various traditions come together. You have to read between the lines. And in understanding the elaboration of the Scriptures and processing the grammatical aspects of the Greek here, we get all kinds of allusions. Very interesting. The Son of Man was identified with the stone of Bethel upon which Jacob had his dream, and which he later set up and anointed. This altar was in the house of God, and was the gate of heaven, exactly like Jacob had. So Jacob basically had the entire gospel plan of salvation. He understood the gospel plan of salvation, just as all the prophets have. Joseph Smith taught even Adam had the gospel. He understood the gospel. The Son of Man is clearly subject to the will of God in that he is sacrificed on an altar on which rests a ladder bearing angelic traffic to heaven and back. John 1:51 refers to the heavenly Son of Man. And the reason why, and I'm almost going to have to show you this. I don't know if I can show you this in the video or not. Let me see if I can get this out in the sunlight, because this is so good. This is so interesting how this works. I really almost have to write it out. Why was the Son of Man used instead of the ladder in John 1:51? There is a very interesting play on words, and a Kabbalist would absolutely be electrified with this. This is Kabbalah, pure and simple. It's beautiful how they do the wordplay here in the Hebrew. It's fabulous. The Son of Man, why it should have been associated with the stone used as a pillow by Jacob and later set up and anointed with oil. What is the hidden meaning here? Why not use the title Messiah or Christ like Justin Martyr did, or even the Son of God like 2nd Esdras, which is 4th Ezra 13 does? The answer seems to lie in the implicit wordplay. The Scriptures want us to think. The Scriptures want us to use all of our tools to find those hidden pearls of great price. And this is just such a pearl of great price. If you've ever studied gematria, if you've ever studied the Zohar, the Jewish scriptural interpretations, if you understand how the rabbis do this, this is absolutely electric.